Hello and welcome to Reality TV Cringe, home of the dumpster, baby. I am Delia, one of your hosts, here with my real tight homegirl and my daughter-in-law, Beatrice.
What's up, ho?
Check all this out. This is Beatrice. We are here today to talk Vanderpump Rules, honey. Season 11 episode, I couldn't tell you.
10.
So episode 10. We're very excited to get into it. Before we do, though, we have to remind you, please hide your wife and hide your kids. This is a politically incorrect podcast. We have stupid opinions and we're very loud about them.
Yeah.
We say a lot of bad words, so heads up. And if you're sensitive, you might want to find yourself under the dumpster, honey. But if you're ready to talk some shit about Tom Sandoval.
Yes, bitch.
And Anne.
Yeah. And Ariana.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Then welcome to this dumpster. We're happy to be here with you.
Yeah. And if you do enjoy talking mad shit, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Reality TV Cringe and join us on Patreon, patreon.com/realitytvcringe.
So much content.
Yes.
Crazy bonus content.
So
we
much.
live to serve the trash. If you are watching on YouTube, please don't forget to like and comment and share and subscribe. Everything you do helps us to grow. And I've noticed we've kind of picked up a couple of new people, and I'm so excited.
Everybody.
You don't even know how I cry.
I know.
So grateful that you
Yeah.
are here with us in the dumpster.
Thank you so much.
Yes. All right. Let's get into Vanderpump Rules. Take it away, Beatrice.
Bitch, this was the uncensored
Why I gotta be
and
bitch?
extended version. You're always a bitch.
Why I gotta be bitch?
You're always my bitch. You're my top bitch.
Okay.
You're my BFF bitch.
Okay.
I'm your bitch too, right?
right. Yeah.
You always
You
call
are
me
now.
bitch every time I come over to this house.
I
every
feel like
time
I
she's like, "What's up,
never,
ho?"
I never call you bitch though. I will
always
call
call
you a hoe, but that's factual.
Well, then I'll call you ho.
it's accurate.
All right, ho. Let's get into
Okay.
it.
All right.
So we open the episode with Tom and Ariana's house, and we got Anne coming over in business attire
Yeah.
because she's going to interview with Ariana, I guess,
Yes.
to be her new assistant.
Personal assistant.
Yeah.
She's got a blazer on,
Mm-hmm.
looking business casual.
Super profesh.
Super excited to meet with Ariana Maddox and hopefully, I guess, defect away from Tom Sandoval and work instead
Yeah.
for his ex.
And she's really wanting that. I mean, last episode, she was texting Ariana like, please,
Yeah.
please hire me. I hate Tom Sandoval so much.
Yeah.
And so Ariana's interviewing her on the kitchen counter table in this common area, which I thought was kind of purposeful because Tom Sandoval is walking around with his dumbass eavesdropping and trying to see what they're doing. He knows that Ariana's trying to poach Anne and trying
I
to
don't
take
think,
Anne.
do you think he knows that?
Yes, he says it is in his interstitial.
Well, I mean, I think he realizes it because he overhears it. But Anne goes upstairs and says hi to Tom, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, I'm just going to talk to Ariana because she needs a new personal assistant and she wants to know if I know anybody. So we're going to have a conversation. It does seem like Tom in that moment is not really happy with her. So maybe he kind of has a sense of what's happening.
I think he knows.
Okay.
I think he knows because in his interstitial, he's saying like, what? Ariana took all of our friends. She's taking everything away from me. And now she's got to take my fucking assistant. What a bitch, basically, is what he's saying.
Right.
And I'm like, cry harder. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't feel bad for you. And also, Anne hates working for your ass.
Yeah, but then I think she should just quit. I feel like the way that Anne is going about this is very unprofessional. And I'm just going to be here and I'm going to be loud and proud and say, I don't like Anne.
Wow.
I think she's very ingratiating. I feel like she's looking for her 15 minutes of fame. And I was like, after you're sitting down next to Ariana and shit talking Tom about his dirty socks and his dirty clothes and the shit that you have to do, I'm like, aren't you violating an NDA that I am sure you had to sign? And then we learn in the after show that she did sign an NDA and that he's going to be calling his attorney. And that's not unusual in Hollywood. If you're going to be working for a celebrity as a personal assistant, you're going to have to sign an NDA. So I'm like, why are you talking shit about Tom in his house in a space where he could possibly hear you? It was just so unprofessional. And so what I did, Beatrice, is I went up on a Reddit, honey, and I'm like, is it just me? Do I exist in a vacuum, or does anybody else see Anne for the clout goblin that she is? And guess what?
People agreed with you.
Please hold.
You found the few people that agree with you.
Yes. So this comment on the Vanderpump Rules subreddit really does encapsulate my entire feeling about Anne, and I would like to have the liberty to read it. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
All right. This person is named Blues Hippie, and she says, Anne's completely unprofessional. She signed an NDA, and now she's trying to figure out how to break that. I can't stand Sandy, but he should sue her. His after-show comments about her were very enlightening. Sandoval says Ariana never liked Anne until she was on camera, and I believe it. I definitely believe that. Blues Hippie goes on to say, here's where I get downvoted and I'm fine with it. Why is Ariana dumping her animals off on Sandoval and Anne to take care of? They should be with her or in a kennel. The master bedroom Ariana decided to dirty up and take over has the AC control on the wall in their room. Ariana keeps acting like Sandoval went in her room, let her dog in there eating her nasty chicken skewers on the nightstand on purpose. Reality is that it was Anne, Sandoval, and the repairman that went into her room. Reality is any of them could have accidentally left Maya in the room where Ariana left food lying out. Why was the dog there for them to care for anyway? Shouldn't she kick in money at least to pay Anne for the cleaning, obviously letting her dog in and out to pee? She doesn't call Anne the dog murderer, although she was there as well. Ariana only wanted to hire Anne on camera to make Sandoval look bad. He already looks bad, but Anne is making herself look worse as an employee. A contract or NDA signed is saying you will protect a person's privacy. She's thirsty for her 15 minutes of fame, and the best part is when Anne showed up wearing a suit to be interviewed by Ariana LMAO. The next comment is by s11e10, and she says, this, and this. I got so much blowback for this opinion. I agree. Anne is untrustworthy.
Whoa.
Sandy is a scumbag, and Ariana is on a bitter rampage disguised as a healing journey, and no one can accept that and won't see anything she does in a bad light, even if she did have a role in a negative situation.
Dang.
And listen, I understand that we have people out in these raccoon streets who ride so hard for Ariana, and I do too. Okay, she got the short end of the stick by even being with Tom Sandoval, who's a fucking clown. And then to have him do something at this level of betrayal is horrible. But like, you're not going to pawn Anne off me on this as this poor girl who lost her job because Tom Sandoval is such a bad person. No, bitch, you're interviewing for an entirely different job with who we could call his actual nemesis under his roof while you're on the clock for him. How is that professional?
I mean, that is a fair point about her professionalism, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't imagine working for somebody like Sandoval. And like, if you're a personal assistant, I understand you do things for the person that you're working for that are maybe sometimes out of the job description. But I'm like, picking up dirty underwear, picking up dirty socks, having to clean up after his single sex parties. Like, I'm like, fuck that. It sounds like a terrible job.
Then she should talk to HR, which apparently he has an HR department. Then she should lodge the complaint and deal with it professionally.
Correct. Yes. No, she totally should. And
I feel like she wants to be there for the cameras, and she wants to ingratiate herself to Ariana so that she can continue to be in front of the cameras.
I don't know if she's like a clout goblin, but like when she was in her interstitial saying that she could get sued for all of this, I was like, what is she talking about? So the NDA makes a lot of sense for that. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, you kind of dug yourself a deep hole with that one. But I do kind of feel for Anne a little bit because, again, Tom Sandoval sucks. Maybe she's not getting paid a lot. Maybe she's really fucking hoping that Ariana does poach her. So that way she doesn't have to work under that asshole ever again. But she can still maintain this, like, you know, vibe that she has. She's still getting paid good money because she's probably going to get paid from Ariana better than Tom Sandoval. I don't know. That's all speculative and presumptuous. Well, because Sandoval says he's not making money. It's not presumptuous.
Well, but he's got employees. He's got workers' comp insurance. He's got an HR department. He's got a business, Beatrice.
I don't know if I believe
Listen,
that.
he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Period and point blank. But if I'm a personal assistant trying to work in Hollywood, California, the last thing I'm going to do is this kind of bullshit. She's not going to be hired by anybody else.
Yeah.
There's no other celebrity in the world that's going to want Anne as their personal assistant if she's out here talking mad shit about her employer before she's even gone.
Yeah.
I think he was well within his rights to fire her. And I'm sorry, cry harder, cope more.
Ooh,
Sorry.
but I mean, later in
Sorry.
the episode, he denies that he even fired her like a piece of shit. And
Yeah.
he told her to take a break. And it's like, so, I mean, there's a lot of shitty players in this whole thing. Like, I don't think Ariana's 100% innocent. I don't think Anne's 100% innocent. Tom Sandoval definitely is not 100% innocent. But I mean, you know, I feel for them as like the feeling human being that I am. They
Okay. Allegedly.
I've got a heart underneath
Allegedly. Do
there.
you?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
small.
It's
It's like the
buried under
Grinch.
so many layers of fat.
Yes, so many layers.
So many layers of obesity.
Fat and grease.
I know, honey.
So after this little interview with Anne and Sandoval getting all salty about it, then we bop on over to like Schwartz going over to Scheana and Brock's house. And this was kind of stupid. The only reason why it was important was because they're talking shit about Katie. They're talking about how she's a hypocritical bitch.
Right.
And she didn't fuck Schwartz a lot during their marriage, but now she's banging Max.
Right.
And he is so salty about it. He is so salty
Do you think
about
he's
it.
salty about it?
Yes. He keeps talking about it. He keeps talking about how Max has a big old dick and Katie is fucking a lot of people. And he's like, wow, I never expected that from her.
I don't know. I just feel like he doesn't have any emotional attachment to Katie at all. Like I don't get anything from him. I get asexual vibes almost from Tom Schwartz. Like I don't get any feeling from him.
The makeout king?
At all. That was such an awkward, terrible makeout with Raquel. It was like hard to believe.
Yeah.
Like I can't see him as a sexual person, but I mean, he has a lot of audacity.
Yeah.
He has a lot of audacity for being upset with Katie sleeping with Max Boyens, who I guess has a big dick,
I
according to
know.
Lisa
Huge
Vanderpump, honey,
deal.
very well endowed. After he wouldn't stick to their agreement
Right.
to not like date within the friend group. Like he doesn't have a leg to stand on. It seems to me he knows this, but he still wants to create some opportunities to throw her under the bus. And Brock seems to love to do that too. And of course, Tom Sandoval hates Katie, but Brock seems to love to pile on Katie as well.
Oh, yeah.
Just another reason. I can't stand that fucking guy.
I think he piles on all the women, honestly. Him, Katie, Ariana, like I think he just
His
likes
own
to,
wife,
yes,
Scheana.
He's a piece of shit. I don't like Brock. But I don't like Schwartz either. And I think Schwartz, honestly, my vibe is not that he's asexual. I think he cries himself to sleep that
you?
Katie left his ass. Yeah, because
you?
because he makes comments like, and I don't know if it's just for the cameras or what, but it just seems weird if it's for the comments, like him talking about his biological clock and how he doesn't want to be 40 when he's single. And it's like, or 40 and single. And it's like, okay, yeah, because Katie left your ass because you're a loser and you never cared about her and you never valued this beautiful woman that for some reason was in love with you and wanted to be with you.
Yeah.
And was in a long-term relationship with you, and she was faithful, right? She didn't cheat.
Yes, yes.
So it's like you had it going.
Yeah.
You couldn't keep it up. Now you're 40 something.
Literally.
I mean, really.
Right.
Like you couldn't keep it up. Now you're 40 something, single, childless. You live in an apartment with all of your plants.
You're a loser.
Like you cry yourself to sleep. That's what I think.
I mean, maybe, but like if a flaccid penis were a person, that would be Tom Schwartz. Like he gives no energy, like no male fucking charisma.
Testosterone.
He does not have any of that. So I don't
Yeah.
even know if he's upset, but I do know that he wants to put her business on Front Street and probably embarrass her.
Oh, totally.
Which, I mean, he has, again, a lot of audacity wearing that fucking sweater that he did to the water party. I'm like, you're trying to embarrass people looking like that? I don't think so, Tom Schwartz.
What a loser. And then we have Ariana going over to Katie's house. And this is where Ariana kind of tells Katie about what happened with Anne, like how she interviewed her kind of. But then after the interview off camera, she tells Anne, I don't think it's going to work out for you to be my assistant right now because Tom's going to be too petty. We don't want to make this a big old thing. And so Anne cries about it. She goes upstairs or something. And then I think Sandoval allegedly confronts Anne, fires her, and then Anne starts crying more. Ariana sees her and is like, feels really bad for her. That's
Right.
what Ariana's saying to Katie.
Right.
Do we believe that?
I believe some kind of a version of that. But I mean, if Tom Sandoval heard them having this discussion, I can see a world where he then fires her once Ariana leaves and says, look, I need a break from you because that was really inappropriate and I need to think about what I want to do. And then Anne has an epiphany like, oh, fuck, maybe I just fucked myself in the ass. I'm going to lose my job. I'm not going to be able to be on camera anymore, which is what I live for.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to cry in the kitchen, and Ariana heard about it. I just feel like Ariana's looking, just like Tom is looking for every opportunity to paint Ariana with a bad brush. I think Ariana is doing the same thing. I think it is more acceptable when Ariana does it because Tom Sandoval is such a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it does cause me to question the veracity of the things Ariana says because I'm like, how much of this is true and how much of this is like attempted dog murderer?
Yeah.
Which is a version of the truth that you're spitting out because you're mad.
I get that. I mean, I think they're both being hella petty. Like, I think that's just...
But she has a reason to be.
Exactly.
Whereas he does not.
Exactly.
So I forgive it more with Ariana.
Right.
But like, I'm not going to say she's not being petty and maybe stretching the truth.
Yeah. But we'll get to that.
Yes,
we'll get to the water sommelier, which is basically the next thing that we get to. So Lala's hosting a water tasting.
Okay, why?
Fucking cringe as hell.
Really bad.
I mean, her being like, water is everything. Like, it's been there for me through everything. And it's so great.
She takes a sip of the most expensive bottle of water in America or something. It's like $1,000 a bottle. And she's like, ooh, I fuck with that. And Katie's like, it tastes like water.
It's literally the dumbest thing ever.
Tastes like water. Like this is like cannot hold a candle to a wine tasting or a fucking bourbon tasting or a juice tasting, a Capri Sun tasting. This is just water, Lala.
It's just water. And she's having it being hosted at James and Allie's house. So it's like not even at your own place. Like you're using their house.
Isn't it weird?
It's super weird. And then you have this water expert who's there, who's from like, I don't know.
Germany? I mean, he sounds like he's from Germany or Austria.
It's not just water. It's great. There's so many different types
literally
of water.
is just water.
It's literally water. Water with some salt. Water with like a hint of rose.
Some carbonation.
I was watching this with your daughter and I'm like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen rich people spend their money on.
LA thing in the world.
I can't. Like, I totally understand it with wine. I totally understand it with whiskey because you age that shit for hundreds of years sometimes.
And those things have a taste.
Yes.
Water has no taste.
No.
Let me catch somebody in North Texas having a water sommelier party.
Girl.
That is funny to
it
me.
would never exist.
No.
It's just really
very
silly.
pretentious and I didn't understand why.
I mean, Lala in her interstitials talking about it's more than just water. Water's my thing.
So that means she's going to probably come out with a water, right?
Oh,
she's going to probably create,
her own sparkling
market.
water.
Yes, it's got to be what's happening. She's trying to start the branding campaign for her personalized.
Rich people are so weird.
Water, huh?
Rich people are so weird sometimes.
Well, they're trying to make money. But this is just, this has also been done before on Shaws of Sunset with Diamond Water, with Asa and her Diamond Water, which also went absolutely nowhere. It was also on Real Housewives of New Jersey with the son of Carol Ann Manzo, who like had a black water. I think it was called Black. And the water was black.
Oh, I've seen that.
I think it's probably got sulfites or...
Well, but at least it looks different, not like regular water.
Who wants to drink
but
black water?
Drink that.
I would drink maybe pink water.
Maybe.
Purple. Black water? Like water's just a bad idea, Lala. There's a million other things that you could do.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. And they're like, oh, look at this. The most expensive bottle of salt. Like, it's salt water. It's like sparkling water with salt in it from like the Himalayas or something. It's just really ridiculous. And then we have a few things happening at the sommelier. So we have, after the water tasting, everybody's like, that was stupid. So then the girls go inside to go eat pizza. We have Schwartz and Katie outside talking at some point because he confronts her about fucking Max. But the biggest thing was the girls talking about pizza, because while Ariana is talking shit about Sandoval and talking shit about Anne and all of this stuff and telling everybody what's going on, Sandoval walks in. And I think, in my opinion, I think he was doing it on purpose. I think he wanted to eavesdrop. I think he overheard Ariana talking about Anne. He wanted to listen. And so he's doing everything that he can to eavesdrop in this conversation. And this is where Ariana gets pissed.
Yeah, I didn't see that at all in the same way.
You're wrong.
Feel like Tom is just existing in a space, in a party space, and he's trying to participate on the periphery. Like, I think he's trying to be helpful. I do think he's trying to overly ingratiate himself to the group, which Ariana calls out. Like, why is he doing that? Why is he going to go chase the driver down for ranch? Like, he's doing the most, but she's talking shit about him. And maybe he is ingratiating himself and trying to do the most so that he can get back into the good graces of the group. And maybe that is transparent, but she's being petty and talking about him in his presence. He did not talk about her. He didn't cast her a fucked up look. She was the one who was talking about him. And so obviously he hears this. He goes back outside. He's talking to the guys. But in my opinion, Ariana is starting some shit. And I'm kind of just asking the question, like, what shifted and changed? Because previous to this, you've either not attended group events and or you have and you've stayed totally away from Tom.
Right.
But it feels like something has given, something has kind of changed, and she's ready to go toe to toe. And she's looking for, and I dare say, creating opportunities to either stick it to him or to fight with him. Like, she's just ready to go.
Yeah.
And
she's
in
pissed.
this situation, she seems ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that she wants to poke at him and she wants to be mad and be petty. But in my opinion, I'm like, if my wife cheated on my ass, I mean, we've been together almost as long as Sandoval and Ariana, right? Like, we've been together almost 8 years. If she was cheating on my ass with my best friend or something, I would be the most petty fucking bitch. I would be so fucking petty. I would be so fucking mean. I would be doing everything in my power to like make her life miserable. Like, because I'm that kind of a bitch. Now, does that make it right? No. It isn't, it's not mature. It's definitely not like emotionally enlightened. But at the same time, it's like Ariana's mad. And I think Sandoval was trying to eavesdrop because I think he wanted to hear what she was saying. And she was talking shit about him in this group setting, which is not right. And come on, Ariana. Like, you know what it was going to do. I think she probably was doing that on purpose, though. She wanted to create the drama. She wanted to rile everybody up.
I'm wondering if she wants to force the issue and make her friends actually choose. Like, who are you going to ride with? You're going to ride with me? You're going to ride with this dude, right? And at some point, they're eating their pizza. He's walking through the room and she starts talking about the incident with Maya, which is her dog, and how Maya got stuck in her room for like 3 hours. She ended up eating some old chicken satay or skewered stuff, and she had to go to the hospital and she had to get her stomach pumped or whatever.
Yeah.
$6,000. But as Tom is walking through the room, she's like, and that attempted dog murderer or something. She refers to him in that way. Brock, who knows who she's talking about, but he's such a fucking instigator because he wants to be the number one guy.
Yeah,
he's like,
totally.
well, who's the attempted dog murderer?
As if he doesn't know.
Right. And then Tom's like, that's me. I'm the attempted dog murderer.
Yeah.
And then they start fighting. And she's like, why are you fucking talking to me? And he's like, why don't you answer a fucking email? And she's like, who the fuck do you think you are? Get out of here, leave. And do I need to call 911? And it gets really ugly, and you just see everybody sitting around the table, like Brock and Scheana and Lala, like their eyes are just open, like they're just like, whoa, what the fuck is happening? And Ariana in this moment seems to have lost herself in the moment. What I'm saying with that is, like, I don't think she planned to be that crazy. I think this is just how she fucking feels.
Yeah.
I think this is how she feels about Tom Sandoval. And I wonder if she walked away from this and felt a little embarrassed, like, oh, I've really fucking lost my shit, but he deserves it. Who cares?
Right.
But like, she's mad.
I mean, she's
at Tom
livid.
Sandoval.
Yeah. Livid.
And he deserves it.
He does.
But like, are we really putting our friends through that? Like, are we really going to social situations and occasions and making our friends sit there as we scream hysterically at our ex-partner? It's just cringy.
I mean, see, to me, I'm like, I don't know if it's cringy. I think she's just proving a point to everybody because everyone this whole entire fucking season, I mean, it's only been 4 or 5 months post Scandoval. Everyone this entire season has been like, Ariana, get over it. Ariana, stop being mad. Ariana, get out of the house, move out, like, move on, let it go. It's not that big of a deal. Like, whatever. We get that you're mad, but like, just develop inner peace. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And that, if like I was Ariana, I would be getting pissed. If people were telling me to calm the fuck down or telling me to let it go and get over it, build a bridge, get over it, just have a conversation with him, just forgive him, just accept his bullshit apologies, I'd be fucking pissed. But I wouldn't take it out like in this group kind of setting. I would take it out on my friends. I'd be like, shut the fuck up. Stop telling me to get over it. Stop telling me to move on. But then there's the other layer of all of it that They're contractually obligated. They're supposed to be on this show. We've talked about this before. Like, she's supposed to be in these interactions with all these
are
people.
your coworkers.
Exactly.
They have to show up. I mean, this is sort of a mandatory scene that everybody's been called to.
Yep.
And I mean, I understand feeling like they are expecting you, Ariana, to like psychologically and emotionally bypass your entire process to just get over it so everybody's more comfortable, and that's not fair. It's just the setting in which you address that. And I don't think she's actually maybe even said that to any of the folks, Lala or Scheana, directly. Like, hey, this is what I need from you.
Yeah.
This is how you might be able to support me. She's been pretty quiet about it. And then she just goes the fuck off.
Yeah, she went from 0 to 100
She just
really quick.
blows up, which honestly serves Tom Sandoval's agenda in trying to villainize her, because immediately he's like, do you see what I have to fucking deal with this woman? This is her rage. This is how she's treated me all these years. And so she gave that to him.
She did. Yeah.
And I'm not saying she's not justified to feel that way. Like, I would have like committed acts of violence on my husband if he did something like that to me. I would have been spinning out for months, if not years, if my husband did something like that to me. So she's entitled to her process, but the way she's visiting it upon everybody else and then requiring them to co-sign and advocate for her, which she does at the beach, right? She's like, you guys get this guy together because he's a misogynist. He won't listen to women. So it's up to you guys to bring Tom Sandoval to heel. I'm like, Ariana, I understand why you would say that, but it is unreasonable to put that on other people.
Yeah, I suppose so. And I mean, when they talk about the whole dog murdering situation, because she explains it to them, and she says that Sandoval was the one that went into her room without her permission, opened the door where the AC is, because I guess he needed to fix the AC or something, and then he let Maya in there and then locked her in there for hours unattended and unsupervised, and then she got into the chicken skewers. And so Lala in her talking head is like,
what do you think about that?
Well, see, I'm a little conflicted about it, because Lala says that, well, Sandoval shouldn't have let the dog in there unsupervised. That's fucked up. But at the same time, Ariana, why are you such a trash goblin, leaving all of your shit in your old takeout? Like, you're disgusting. Like, why don't you throw out your stuff? And you and I were kind of WhatsApping about this earlier today, because you're like, well, like, you know, Ariana maybe is not the cleanest. Like, maybe she's kind of messy, kind of like Sandoval. Sandoval's a little bit messy. I mean, a lot of bit messy in their house. And so maybe to me, I'm like, whatever, it's a takeout thing. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Maybe it wasn't there for days. Maybe I'm giving her too much of a benefit of the doubt.
Maybe. I thought it was interesting that Lala highlighted that and like shifted blame and responsibility onto Ariana.
Yeah.
Pointing out like, well, throw your shit away. Like, don't be a trash goblin in your home when you know that you have a dog who has a propensity to eat 500 laxatives and all manner of shit in your house. Like, think about that. But I do think Lala is voicing the opinion of a lot of people watching right now. In fact, I went up on the subreddits because I always want to see what people are saying and what people are thinking. And there were a lot of people saying she's always been a slob. She has always she's also been depressive though in the past. And so that also lends itself sometimes, not always, but lends itself to maybe not always having the most cleanest of spaces.
Yeah.
But, and then there was the matter of the kitty litter, which I know we're jumping around here. Like, but it's
all in the
same. The subject of Maya, right? And being neglectful of Maya. Tom Sandoval was neglectful. He was not paying attention to what he was doing. I can totally see that. And then Tom Sandoval in a later scene when he's talking to Schwartz and Kyle, he's just like, she's the laziest person in the world. And it's just really rich to me that she's trying to paint me out to be this irresponsible person. Meanwhile, I mean, the cat shit in the kitty litter, she never fucking changes it. It's been months since she changed it. And then they show a scene of, they show one of Ariana cleaning it, but then they show one of Tom cleaning it. And it's literal piles and piles of cat shit in this small litter box. Yeah. And this is where you're starting to lose me just in life. Like with James Kennedy, you've lost me when you hit a woman. Jax Taylor, like also your misogynistic ways, like it's very hard for you to claw your way back into my warm regard. And with both Ariana and Tom Sandoval being in charge of this cat, there is no reason that litter box should ever ever look like that. I don't care who's responsible. I don't care who thinks that they're the parent, because at the beach scene, we've got Ariana saying, I am the parent to these animals. I paid for them. They're mine. Then if that's the case, hire somebody to clean the kitty litter out.
Yeah.
Hire somebody to actually watch Maya.
Right.
And make sure that she's where she's supposed to be. Like, why are we depending on Tom to do that if you hate him so much? Why are you leaving your kitty litter like that? I'm sorry. To me, that's neglectful of animals.
Yeah.
And you can talk all you want, Ariana, about how much you love your animals like your children. But if your cat litter box looks like that, I am 100% side-eyeing you. Now, let me also say, she was traveling a lot, Dancing with the Stars. She was getting a lot of brand deals for which she was probably moving around the country to promote. But then, like I said, hire somebody. Ariana, you can't put it all on Tom.
When you know he's irresponsible.
Right.
And you're saying he's a piece of shit.
You're screaming at him for leaving the door open of your house. Okay, well, like, then either move out, honestly, which is where I think we're getting back to Lala, trying to say, I get it. He's a piece of shit. He's lower than the fucking scum on my shoe, and I agree, I co-sign. But move out, because look how angry you are. And look at the risk you're putting your animals in, because you're not there. Because you're moving around, you're traveling.
That's true.
Why are you trusting Tom to take care of this shit when you know he's a piece of shit?
Yeah. And to me, like, all of this is just like super petty marital drama, like that they've probably argued about all over and over and over again. Because I've got fucking cats, I've got a dog. And it's like you have those arguments in your marriage of like, well, you didn't fucking take the dog out. You didn't clean the litter when I asked you to. And so now it's overflowing or whatever. And it's like you have these moments where you fight. And so that's where the litter box thing to me was like they were both doing it to each other, because we have the footage of her cleaning it first, because Bravo puts that out first and says 1 week earlier she's cleaning it, and then 5 days later we have Sandoval doing the same thing. And it's like, to me, when I watched it, I'm like, I wonder if Sandoval like knew he was going to get called out for it or something and was trying to maintain his image, if he's truly a narc that we think him to be. But then at the same time, I think Ariana's kind of doing a little bit of the same thing. She's trying to like paint him in a bad light. He's trying to paint her in a bad light. They're both being fucking petty. But at the same time, Ariana's a little justified. With the whole Maya thing, I can understand why she got so fucking mad.
Sure.
Because she didn't find out that Maya had eaten those chicken skewers until hours later, when she gets home and finds Maya in her room alone, locked in there. And then she has to rush her to the emergency vet. That shit can kill a dog.
Yep.
There's nothing that they can do to fix that usually. So like the fact that she was able to get fucking surgery for it and get it all removed safely and she was fine, like that's good. But I can understand why she got so fucking heated about it.
Right. But like, who's taking care of Maya, your dog, then? Because you're gone for hours, right? And so we don't want Maya to be in your room. So Maya's in the rest of the house where Tom exists and Anne is working. So are you expecting Tom and Anne to take care of Maya?
Yeah.
Like, where's the responsibility there? And also, I'm just going to say it, and maybe I'm a judgy bitch for it and y'all can hate me, but like, why are we keeping meat and skewers on the side of our bed? Like, just put your shit away, throw it away. And I thought Lala was petty. I thought she was coming down probably on the wrong side, and she's been doing that all season. But I'm also like, I'm like Scheana, like, do not even eat in this bed.
Yeah.
Do not bring anything edible towards my blankets, my covers, my sheets, anything.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's dirty and gross. And if you already know you have a dog who has a tendency to eat everything, because in the after show we see Tom Sandoval talking about how she got into some sort of paints or something, and then shit all over the couch. Like, so we know this dog is not you have not trained this dog to not do this, and you're not crate training the dog. The dog's not in a kennel. It's not in any doggy daycare. So Ariana, you're just getting up and leaving for hours at a time and expecting everybody else to take care of it with a dog that you know eats everything, and you're leaving shit in your room, though. I don't know. I'm just mad about it, because it didn't need to happen to Maya, and those poor cats are literally having to shit upon 14 pounds of shit that's already existing in their kitty litter, because these two assholes won't take care of their animals.
Because they're being petty about it. But I like, in Ariana's defense about the chicken skewers, like, her room was fucking closed. She was not expecting Maya to be in there. Now, granted, again, it goes back to what you were saying, like, okay, what did you expect? Like, if Tom needed to get into the room and he's a dumbass who's irresponsible and doesn't fucking pay attention to your dog, why wouldn't you have said something like, oh yeah, maybe make sure Maya doesn't go in there because there's fucking chicken skewers or something? But she couldn't, because she is saying she didn't know that Tom let himself into her room. So
Right. And what's Tom supposed to do as well? Is Tom supposed to text her and say, hey, there's a problem with the AC, the thermostat, which controls it, for which is in your master bedroom. So would it be okay, please, if I enter your room to take care of it? What do you think Ariana's going to say? She's going to say no.
yeah, fuck no.
She's going to be petty about it.
Yeah.
So he ends up just going in and trying to take care of it. But he's an irresponsible loser.
Yeah.
Who doesn't give a shit about Maya or the animals, it sounds like, and is not even paying attention to where Maya is moving about the cabin. So, Ariana, you should have been able to foreshadow some of this and put things into place that would take care of your animals. Because if he's such an irresponsible piece of shit, you should have prepared for that. Listen, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
But when it comes to animals, I'm just like, I have no grace for that.
Yeah.
I have no
makes
grace
sense.
for this.
Yeah.
With Ariana or Tom.
Yeah. But shit happens also. I mean, like, uncensored.
Okay.
Because this is, we're in Texas. Okay. And so, like, maybe Ariana, just to play devil's advocate, just to play.
And back from uncensored
Yes.
now. Yes.
Maybe Ariana is taking it out so hard on Sandoval because she feels like a fucking idiot. Like, she feels terrible that this happened to her dog and she was the one that was irresponsible. And I'm not saying that, like, her blaming Tom 100% is right, because it's both their faults. I do agree with Lala that it is. You guys are both responsible for this fucking dog.
Yeah.
It's
period.
not like it's just Sandoval. Like,
right.
And granted, he shouldn't have been like barging into your room.
But
and
I mean,
he shouldn't have been.
Still,
It's
you guys
still.
are the owners of the animal. You are responsible for it. And Ariana, that
Exactly.
includes you.
Exactly.
You can't put all that shit onto Tom Sandoval. That's what's
Yes.
annoying to me.
Yes.
Is the way they're trying to litigate this on the public stage as
Right.
if these are not your animals. And maybe I would have a little bit more grace as a judgmental bitch if it was just one thing in one episode. But like, we're talking about the Maya thing and the litter box thing in one episode or over 2 episodes. And I'm like, okay, what's going on?
A lot's coming out.
Are you guys thinking about these animals? I just want somebody to please be thinking about these animals. And so for me, in terms of Ariana, you're down a few notches. Tom Sandoval's already all the way down. He's in
All
the
the
bar
way.
is in hell with Tom Sandoval. But Ariana, I'm like, okay, lady.
Take some ownership for the fact that you left your dog alone with an irresponsible piece of shit and you had chicken skewers on your fucking nightstand and she got into it. But she probably feels bad about it. That's all I'm saying. All
right.
And then after the whole water sommelier thing, after fucking Ariana's telling Tom Sandoval, get the fuck away from me, I'm going to call 911. He ends up leaving. He calls Schwartz after that and he's like, she's so scary. And that's the end of it. So the next day, Tom Sandoval in his weird crochet tank top, Schwartz and some rando guy go to get paella or something.
Yeah.
This is where they're talking shit about it. And this is where they bring up Katie again and they talk about how she's a hypocritical bitch, talking about how she used to slut shame the women and now she's being they're implying that she's sleeping around and also being a slut too.
And is a hypocrite. That's how Tom Sandoval comes into the conversation. So first thing I want to talk to you about are the flashbacks of Katie, because I know you haven't watched the entire series like I have.
Right.
And so they had maybe 4 different flashbacks of Katie calling various women whores. I think Lala, Scheana, Kristen, I don't know. She was calling everybody a whore.
Yeah.
And I will say from my personal experience that Katie definitely used to be very toxic and had her own internalized misogyny in terms of how she treated the other women. She was part of the Mean Girls clique. And I for years, I could not stand her. But how does seeing those flashbacks affect you as somebody who's new to the series and this is like your first time really watching it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I thought the flashbacks were fucking embarrassing because most of them were Katie drunk as fuck, calling all these bitches whores and stuff. And I'm like, dang, that doesn't look good. But then at the same time, like, where were you 10 years ago?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Thank
where
you.
were all of us 10 years ago? We were all dumb as shit. Where were we all 20 years ago on the internet when it was way more offensive,
Yes.
way more crazy? Everybody was making really shitty fucking jokes.
Yeah.
And now everybody's getting canceled for it. Like, that's my opinion for it. I'm just like, okay. The guys are just trying to throw Katie under the bus because they're mad that she's beautiful and that she's fucking dudes with big dicks. And they're pissed off about it. I think Schwartz is so salty about it, and that's why it gets brought up every time.
Maybe. I hearken back to Katie's appearance on the Nick Viall podcast with Dana because they have a podcast called Disrespectful, Dana and Katie. Anyway, but Katie was saying, yeah, like, and I paraphrase, 10 years ago, I was a piece of shit. Like, I was a kid though, and I'm like trying to figure out life, and I made a lot of mistakes. I put up with a lot of things that I shouldn't have, but to expect me to continue to do that and or not to have grown and wanted to change and be a better person, like, that's asinine. So of course I don't want to go back, and I don't want to support people like Tom Sandoval who are still doing shit like this.
Right, exactly.
But that doesn't mean we get to judge her on the person that she was years ago. And so I agree with you. And I think that you can really see Tom's agenda immediately at this dinner with his two friends. Like, he starts with like, how's Katie the hypocrite?
Yeah.
And you really get a sense, don't you, as somebody who hasn't watched the series, how much that attitude might have affected Tom Schwartz's marriage to Katie, especially when Sandoval's in business with Schwartz, and so has to have Schwartz's attention and cooperation and time. Like, he was a huge factor in the dissolution of their marriage.
Yeah.
You can kind of see his attitude right there in this scene. I just thought it was like, wow, right on display.
Oh, 100%.
This is why Katie hates you, Tom.
Yes, he's a piece of shit. And then Schwartz just kind of going along with it because he's also a slime ball.
And I think he likes it. And I think he wants to call Katie out.
Oh, 100%. And then Sandoval also has to throw Ariana under the bus again because he's talking shit about the water sommelier and how she was a big old bitch to him and screamed at him. And then he says that Ariana, I think it was in his talking head or at the table, I don't remember. He says, I have on record that Ariana doesn't want to keep the house. She's just fighting me on it to be petty. And I'm like, okay, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, but let's talk about the term on the record. Like, does that mean you have an attorney that is actually interviewing people who are telling you on the record? Or does that mean that you have somebody in the friend group who is passing on information to you about how Ariana really feels? Like, so it sounds like somebody is talking to him, and I'm wondering who that might be, because it feels like it could be Scheana too. Feels like it could be Scheana.
Oh, interesting.
Because I don't think Ariana likes Lala. I think Ariana films with Lala, but I think she actually had a real friendship with Scheana. So I'm just wondering who's talking to Tom, or Brock talking to Tom through
Scheana.
Yeah, through Scheana. Or Scheana talking about, yeah.
What a mess.
Yes.
I hope we get to see like more about that, because the house thing is a huge debacle. Because like, I was watching it with your daughter and she's like, yeah, why is Ariana staying there? And I'm like, well, I mean, if you think about like a divorce or thinking about like a long breakup, like I think about my parents' divorce, and like they were in separate rooms of the house for a whole year. Like they couldn't move out. We were tied to a lease. Like there wasn't anything that they could do but live together and suffer under the roof together. And they had us kids, and it was like messy. And so I'm like, well, it's only been 5 months. I can't be so hard on Ariana for staying. But then I'm like, if she's really just staying out of spite to be petty, I mean, again, that's some shit that I would do. I'm a petty bitch though.
Look, if it serves her, like if it doesn't degrade her peace of mind, or her if it doesn't harm her emotionally, and she can just stick it to him, I mean, I don't hate that, honestly. But I don't know. And I think we're having multiple conversations around the friend group talking about like, is it worth it for your peace of mind? Is it worth it to like hold this in? Because even Scheana is saying, like at the pizza party, the water sommelier party, she's like, I hate seeing her like this.
Yeah.
Like so filled with anger and so unhappy. Like I just want her to move past this. And, you know, I don't know what to do. Nobody really knows what to do. And in this scene, though, with Tom and Kyle and Tom Schwartz, we also have him going on his campaign about how Ariana's lazy. Like he wakes up way before she does. He's going to bed after she does. Like she never even leaves the room until 1 o'clock, and really trying to paint a picture of how bad she is. Yeah. I want to call her a piece of shit. I feel like we always say that term, I know. Piece of shit, but like how like worthless and terrible she is.
Yeah, which is interesting because I mean, Ariana says that the only reason why she's in that one room of the house is because it's the only room where she could like live with all of her stuff. Like, isn't there like a bathroom in there?
There is, like a little studio apartment vibe.
Yeah, so that's why she doesn't leave the fucking room, Sandoval. Like, don't act like she's lazy. Maybe she's doing shit.
How can she be lazy when she's on Dancing with the Stars? Exactly. She's writing a book, which Ariana actually says to Katie, like, look at all I have done. And at the time that this is filming, it's been like 4 months. Look at everything I have accomplished, and I'm lazy. I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. So fuck you, Tom.
Yeah.
I hate it.
End of the day, fuck you, Tom.
Yes. And then we're getting up to the beach redemption trip. We only have a couple things that happen like right before that. We have James and Allie going to lunch with Lisa
care.
Vanderpump. Nobody cares.
Yep.
They're just gossiping. Then we have Brock and Scheana at their house. The only thing that's interesting about this is because they're the ones that are creating the beach trip. And Scheana asks Brock, hey, you still inviting Sandoval? Because I think you should uninvite him. Because after that water sommelier, I don't think it's going to be good, which I thought was interesting. A change of pace from Scheana being kind of a bitch the last couple episodes. I'm like, okay, maybe you're just playing the field though. Maybe you're just doing this to fix your image. I don't know. But Brock's like, why should I uninvite him? He's my bro. He should be able to come over, and Ariana should just get over it already and just accept his apology.
Yes. And Sheena's like, well, it doesn't work like that. And Brock is trying to say that Ariana, her reaction at the sommelier party was just over the top. Like, I mean, she's so fucking angry. Like, she needs to get over it. She needs to move on. And Scheana says something like, do you know how you react in a triggered way and get really volatile and really uppity in short order? Like, how come you can do it, but Ariana can't? You can understand why Ariana would be. And Brock seems to understand, but at the end of the day, he's not going to disinvite Tom.
Nope. Because he doesn't care.
He doesn't care, and because the producers are telling them to do it anyway. And I don't know. Let me just say that my vibe with Scheana is like she is playing the counterpoint to Brock because she knows that she has to. I don't know that it's really authentic, that she's worried about Ariana, that she's sticking up for Ariana's reactions and her process. I feel like she's just playing the counterpoint so that she can appear diplomatic. Now, that's completely speculative, and it's based on my dumb opinion only, but I'm not buying her authenticity at all. Based on how she was in the beginning and the shit that she has said in her interstitials about Ariana being her backup dancer and all of that. I'm like, you're not genuine, honey.
No, not at all. And her and Lala in both their interstitials, even in this episode, are still being like, Ariana, just get over it because Tom suffered enough. Look at his life. He's a loser and you're winning. You've got everything. You've got all these brand deals.
They keep bringing up like her trash bag brand deals, her Dancing with the Stars. It always comes back to that, which really does reveal their motivation in the whole thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're jelly.
Yep, they're jealous. And then we have Tom and Ariana's house where Ariana's meeting with an interior designer. That's the only thing that's interesting, where she's itemizing everything. And she says after the water sommelier, she's like, I got to get the fuck out of the house. I'm like, really? That's the reason you want to get out of the house? I don't know. Then we have the beach day. So everybody shows up to the beach. Now,
even Tom Sandoval.
Even Tom Sandoval. And Ariana at first was like, yeah, I'm going to go. I'm not going to let him ruin the day or whatever. But she shows up and she's kind of got a little bit of a chip on her shoulder.
Little attitude.
She knows he's going to show up.
And it's going to be a shit show.
Oh, yeah.
She's got her armor on.
Everybody knows because everybody gets all set up on their respective sides. James is the one that draws the fucking line in the sand, literally, once Sandoval.
Which Ariana doesn't seem to appreciate.
No.
Like, because he's making light of an issue that's going on and she's just like,
yes.
I'm pissed.
Yes. And so then everybody kind of starts talking together. And it's, I think it's Schwartz or Sandoval that brings up his sexy singles party, and then Scheana is asking what about it, like she's like, what are you talking about? Because as if she's got to know what the guys are talking about when she's sitting with the girls, and Ariana doesn't want to hear what Sandoval has to say.
I don't know that that's what it is. I think Brock says something about Raquel to Tom Sandoval. Was it before that or after that?
It was after, because Scheana is talking about, I think somebody brought up Scheana and Schwartz making out in Vegas.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's how it got brought up first. And then Sheena's like, well, everybody is in this group has flirted with me, including you, Tom Sandoval. And then I think Brock brings up Raquel.
And then Tom says, like, that's low hanging fruit, Brock. You shouldn't be bringing that up. And then Ariana from the other side pipes up and says, like, can you guys not talk about this? This is fucking disgusting. I'm sitting right here. I don't want to hear it. And Tom says, I didn't mention it. Brock brought it up. And then they immediately start fighting again in front of everybody.
Yes. And I think in his talking head, that's when Sandoval says, no matter what I do or say, I'm going to trigger Ariana. And I'm like, okay, then why do you show up? Like, why do you show up? Why does she's going to be there? But why does she? Because of contracts.
I think they are both vying for position in the friend group and to stay on the show. And I think Ariana knows that if she does not show up to these things, that she's going to lose her place on the show at some point. And I think Ariana has actually spoken about her work ethic. Like, and we learned a couple of episodes ago that she only had $2,000 in her bank account at the end of fucking the reunion Scandoval. When Scandoval went down, she had no money. So she really needs her various jobs. And I think she knows that these things are temporary. She's not always going to have offers to do all these fabulous things. So she wants to work. She knows she has to show up at this beach scene that the producers have manufactured. And I love the energy she's bringing in. She's like, okay, if you want me to show up, I'm fucking showing up.
Yep.
And I'm not putting up with this bullshit. So as soon as they start talking about that, she just starts popping off and yelling at Tom. And they start arguing back and forth. And she's like, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Don't talk. I hate when people do that.
What? Saying don't talk
when
to
they're
me?
arguing and they just say the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Just like, you're filibustering. Like, can't we have a conversation? Okay, I guess not. So they're arguing. Tom ends up standing up and walking away. And then Ariana tells the dudes that they need to speak to Tom and they need to stick up for her because Tom Sandoval is a misogynist and he only essentially responds to other men. Like, he will not listen to a correction from a woman. So it's got to be you guys. You guys got to tell him, don't talk to me like that. Don't take jabs at me. And I'm like, but Ariana, you started taking jabs first, actually.
Yeah.
And so you got to take your own advice. But she's asking these boys, which would be Tom Schwartz, Brock, and James Kennedy, to get their boy in check.
Yeah.
And Brock starts pushing back a little bit.
Yeah.
She's like, what do you want? He's got his tail between his legs. He walked off. What more do you want?
Yeah. He's like, just accept his apology. And she's like, fuck, no, I'm not going to. Like, and I think this is where she starts getting really fucking mad. And she's like, you guys keep pushing me to do shit like this and to be involved with this piece of fucking shit who constantly antagonizes me, constantly triggers me, constantly fucking makes jabs and talks shit because he is talking shit to these guys. Like, she knows he's talking shit to everybody about how Ariana's a big scary bitch and she's got anger problems and blah, 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 blah. So she's just getting really mad and she's like, you guys keep shoving him down my throat and how do you expect me to react? And I think Lala shows up to the beach because she's
right around
late.
then. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like right when everything's
like,
popping
oh,
off.
shit, what am I walking into?
And of course, Lala sits down. She's like, what's going on? And Ariana kind of fills her in. She's like, well, fucking Sandoval's talking shit. He's being a piece of crap. And then Lala's got to put her 2 cents into it. And she's got to be like, well, why don't you just try to have a conversation with him? Why don't you just try to talk to him?
And Ariana's like, I'm never going to have a talk with him.
She's like, I literally can't.
But she's giving Lala sass. She's just like, yeah, that's never going to happen. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. Why should I do that? And Lala really doesn't have any energy to like counter that, like, because Ariana's right.
Yeah.
I'm like, why don't you just stay out of it? Why don't you just let it de-escalate and die down? Why do you need to come in late to the conversation and then try to add your superior fucking moral police 2 cents and tell Ariana how to feel?
Right.
At the same time, I want to have the discussion about Ariana trying to mobilize the men, all of whom suck, in my opinion.
Yeah.
To her defense. I'm like, first and foremost, you can't ask men who suck inherently to have dignity and rise to your defense because, again, they suck.
Right.
But also, I don't think anybody should really be expecting other people to take care of somebody that you loved and spent 9 years with and share a home with and have a life with. Like, it's kind of a lot to ask people to stand up for you and to argue on your behalf because you're in the right. I'm just like, can we just not involve other people in our petty fucking malignant awful bullshit?
Yeah.
I mean, can't we just learn to, if you're going to show up, Ariana and or Tom,
right,
can't you just learn to like keep it together?
I don't think they can. Like, I think she's still so fucking triggered. Like, anytime he shows up, she's like immediately mad, and like rightfully so. And to me, when she was calling out the guys, I actually was kind of in support of it. I was like, yeah, go Ariana. But at the same time,
why is it their responsibility to take care of Tom Sandoval when he's a dick and they're all awful?
I don't think she was asking them to take responsibility. I think what she was trying to say was like, why can't you guys call him out for trying to instigate shit? Like,
but they have.
Well, not really.
Yes, they have. James did.
Well,
James
yeah.
has. Brock did in Tahoe.
Not at the beach.
At Tom Schwartz. Not in that very moment, but at this point, shit's in the ditch. Shit's off the rails. You guys are screaming at each other and we're just trying to sit here and figure out what to do. But like a lot of these people have actually tried to talk to Tom Sandoval.
But then they're going to steakhouse dinners with him and acting like it's fine and still talking with him.
So then, Ariana, what you really want to ask is to take my side and to go no contact with Tom Sandoval, which you can't fucking do. I know you want to do that. I know this is a work situation and you want it to be more comfortable for you, but it's just never going to happen. And these aren't the guys that are ever going to do that for you either. Right. And by the way, these aren't the girls that are going to do that for you, except for Katie. You only got one girl in this whole group that's going to do that for you. And so I don't know.
Well, it's like the whole Kristen thing on the Valley. It's like, why are you trying to expect any amount of integrity from anybody in this group when everybody fucking sucks?
Specifically Jax.
And nobody, nobody cares about you truly. Right. Like nobody's an actual real friend. Because to me, when I was watching this, I'm like, well, if it was like a real friend would be like, Sandoval, get the fuck away and stop talking to her. Stop trying to bring up your lawyer. Stop trying to do all this shit. Get up and go walk away. And he eventually did after Ariana's like, don't fucking talk to me. Don't fucking talk to me. Don't fucking talk to me. Get the fuck away from me. Like then he finally gets his stupid ass up. Like, but he's also instigating it. And this goes back to like our earlier discussion. Like they're both playing off of each other. They're both petty. They're both pissed off at each other. I'm sure Sandoval's mad at Ariana for a multitude of things.
Yes.
Not just the fact that she didn't have sex with him or that she's mean and scary and angry. I think
he's mad that she's got all these brand deals.
Yes.
I think he's mad that she's not answering his fucking attorney letter. Yes. I think he's mad that the whole fucking world at this point in 2023, summer of, people are all team Ariana. I think as a narcissist, he's losing his shit.
Oh, yeah. And he's so fucking mad that she also doesn't want to give him the time of day. She's not falling for any of his bullshit anymore and not falling for him being like, well, but I'm coming here cap in hand like Robin Brown. And I'm trying. I'm apologizing. I'm trying to get everything worked out. You just don't want to do it. I gave you a good offer of $3 million for the house and you don't want to take it because you're being petty. It's like, it's just this game between them, the two of them. And it's just interesting to watch it play out. And it's so volatile still.
It is. I feel like the producers have probably had conversations with Ariana and Tom. And they're like, this is untenable. Like, you guys are an ensemble cast. You guys have to film together. And if you guys aren't going to do it, well, guess what? Ramifications for you next season. You might not have a job. So get your fucking ass to the beach, Ariana. Get your ass to the water sommelier party, which no person in their right mind would ever want to go in the first place. Get your ass to work. Right. And so she's like, okay, if I'm going to go to work, it's going to be on my terms and you're going to get the real Ariana and how I really feel, because previous to this, she's been trying to avoid him at all costs.
Yeah.
So things are getting good. And I watched Andy Cohen on his IG. He did a live. He had just arrived in LAX and he said that he had binged the last 7 episodes of Vanderpump Rules. And he's like, and I'm not saying this lightly. And by the way, I'm not the executive producer. I have like no say in this show at all. I have no investment like to make you guys watch. I'm just telling you from one person, one fan to another, this shit's about to get really good. Now he does say that kind of a lot.
Yeah.
And sometimes with reunions, he'll be like, it's going to be crazy. And it's not.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the way he was saying it, he's like, things are about to pick up, as if to acknowledge that it's been a little slow. It's, been a little bit snooze fest.
It has been kind of boring.
Yeah. And he's just like, it's about to get real.
Yes.
And I'm like, yes, I love it.
Give it to me.
Coupled with The Valley, which is also such a trashy shit show. I am so entertained on Tuesday nights.
I know. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
I mean, Bravo, they know how to do it. And even though all of these people on Bravo, like all these shows, like the people try their best to produce themselves and they try to hide their bullshit underneath
We're
everything.
raccoons. We have monocles. We've been doing this all our lives. We are trash connoisseurs. We can see you when you're being fake.
Yep.
And the truth always comes out.
Yep.
Now, the last thing I want to talk with you about before we get on out of here is like the rabid nature of the VPR fandom. Like, there are people who are so hardcore Team Ariana, Team Katie.
Yeah.
Or so hardcore like Team Scheana, Team Lala.
Yeah.
Nobody's hardcore Team Tom Sandoval.
No.
But like the women, there's just people who are really, really on polar opposites. And so sometimes I worry getting up on the podcast with you because sometimes I just want to call out the bullshit that I see with some of the people that are really loved by the audience.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, are people going to get upset? Are people going to be mad?
Cry.
Well, but I mean, at the same time, I think it makes it so much more interesting when we talk about the layers
Well, yeah.
and the motivations and like the social awareness of Scheana Shay and what she's doing in front of the cameras, and then how Lala is incentivized to keep VPR together because this is her whole fucking paycheck.
Yeah.
And like all of the other things at play, to include the fact that Ariana has villain tendencies in her. You can't tell me
Totes.
any differently. And so does Katie.
Yeah.
So does Lala Scheana. So like sometimes I feel like I want to censor myself because I feel like you'll get mad at me and we'll
Why?
fall out.
Well, because we were fighting about this earlier.
We were
before.
fighting in the kitchen. We were fighting,
We were.
but like, we were
were
like
talking
pretty
about it.
passionate about it. But like,
Yeah.
we're just a microcosm
Yeah.
of like the bigger zeitgeist that is the audience for this show. People are pissed off.
Well, it's just indicative of what's happening in the world. Not everything is fucking black and white. There's
Yeah.
so much nuance to literally everything. And you know what? We can all be pieces of shit. Like, we all have our fucking red flags. We can all be toxic. We can all be petty. We can all be angry, whatever. That's just life. But I'm Team Ariana, though.
I'm not
Team
Team Ariana, but I'm going to
Ah,
call
yeah.
her a bad cat mom, and I'm going to call Tom a bad cat dad. Like, I'm just going to tell the truth. And so that's kind of where I ended up at the end of the day,
Yeah.
because I had like some visceral reactions to this episode, mainly around the animals.
Yeah.
And then Ariana's like fucking attitude about that. But that doesn't mean I think she's a bad person, and it doesn't mean I think Tom Sandoval's the good person. I'm just
Right.
trying to approach from all kinds of angles.
Well,
and
and
I'm
like-
not going to change myself
No.
because
And
I was born this way.
gay.
That's you, honey.
Well, and also I think there's a lot of editing at play too with
Yeah.
this too, because I think the producers are playing on the dynamic of Ariana versus Sandoval because they're both trying to make each other look bad. I just think that Sandoval looks worse.
I would 100%
he
agree
looks
with you.
way worse. I think
100%.
Ariana's being mad, and like if you think about it too, from like if this happened to you and your husband and this was televised,
Oh,
are you
God.
going to be acting like 100% in integrity the whole
No,
entire
I would be
time?
out of my mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, Ariana, yeah, maybe she's a little fucking heated. Maybe she's a little intense. Maybe she's a bad cat mom. Maybe she's irresponsible as well. Or maybe she doesn't clean up her fucking room. But fuck Tom Sandoval. And I think she has every
Yeah.
right to be fucking mad. I think she has every right to be petty because I'm a petty bitch and I would be petty.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's right. We can have those nuanced conversations.
All right.
We're not internalized misogynists.
In short.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I have to say about this episode.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we need to say to these beautiful raccoons, Beatrice?
Well, if you love our podcast, I sure hope that you go onto your favorite podcast platform and leave us a glowing 5-star review.
5.
It really helps us grow the pod, so thank you so much in advance.
We will be back next week to talk Seeking Sister Wife and also The Valley and VPR. But until then, please do not forget that we have nothing but love for you, and peace out.
Bye.
Bye, guys.